very concerned about environmental issues, so we welcome his support on this.
Absolutely.
Hi, good to see you. Good morning to you.
Hey, how are you?
Good afternoon. Actually, good afternoon.
Nice surprise.
Hey, Lori.
Shall we assemble on the safe?
This is Lisa. How you doing, hon? This is my husband, Mark. This is Lisa Britton, and her husband is Gary over on Vic. On Vic. In the hat. Marion is also.
Sure.
Great. Do you want to sign in?
Good afternoon, everyone. This walkabout is sponsored by our Green West Orange. This is the Essex Green Shopping Center. As you all probably know, it's the subject of a redevelopment designation, but the owner, Clarion Partners, a subsidiary of the publicly traded company Lake Basin, has decided to forego the redevelopment designation and apply at the zoning board for various variances, and they desire to renovate the shopping center, even though the proposal has been for a new town center. From what we have seen so far, it's going to be merely a renovation. And unfortunately, that renovation is going to be changing the traffic pattern of the parking lot, and the opinion of many of us, of we citizens, it will be less safe the way it's going to be reconfigured, and that reconfiguration is going to necessitate cutting down all the trees that you see here. And these trees, as you can see, they are somewhat constrained by the size of these islands here, and these are actually the larger islands. And no change is going to be made in terms of the configuration of the dimensions of the island. So that narrow island there, that's perhaps 6 feet across, that's what we're going to be seeing in the future. As a result, the trees are going to be stunted in their growth, and they won't be able to achieve full root span and height and canopy.
They're going to remove the trees, or
they're going to be cutting them down.
Are they planning to replace them?
They will all be destroyed except for 8 trees, which will be transplanted. Am I correct? 8.
That's right. So
Yeah.
trees such as those there, those evergreens, which are in fine condition, and they're probably 20 years old based upon the dimension of the trunk, those are all going to be cut down. All the trees that
And
you
that's
see
ridiculous, because trees are a part of successful urban planning and design. They should be here.
What sort
Yes.
of landscaping are they proposing?
there. They're going to be replanting trees that don't take up a lot of space, and they won't be evergreens. So they're going to be shadblow, is that what the species of trees? And small maples that will be planted through here. So instead of some evergreens that you see there and a little bit of greenery, they'll have these typical deciduous trees that you see throughout here.
There is a landscape planting plan which we will have in due course, and which can be viewed down at Town Hall, that shows the precise planting plan with the deciduous saplings that will replace the trees going. So if we say about 150 trees are going to be destroyed, they'll be replaced by about 150 saplings. So you're going to get rid of trees, you know, with a girth like this and plant them with little trees like this. So they are claiming that they are giving us a few more trees than we already have on site. But the question is, they're swapping mature trees, or middle-aged trees as they call them, with junior trees. So from a tree point of view, that's not really acceptable.
They want our trees to age in place.
Exactly.
No, I mean, seriously, do you know what? Is it because of construction needs?
Yes,
Or
so
why do they do
basically
that?
everything you see here is going to be torn up. We have here the demolition
Why
plan.
don't we walk over here and show you what's going to be changed? I think that might be easier.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Could I just point out what we're standing on here? Notice this sidewalk leading from one building to the other. Notice it's wide enough and elevated for pedestrians to walk on. You have large-sized trees with an ample space here for the trees to grow, plus space on this side where trees could also grow. And the design of such an island can include bioswales, which is what our environmental commission in town wants to see. That means that runoff water is harvested into bioswales that will feed and nourish the plants. So basically you create a green environment in your landscaping for the parking lot. This is being removed, and nothing like this is being planned anywhere in this parking lot.
And also, our tree protection ordinance requires that when trees are cut down, that they are replaced with trees that will grow to a certain size, and that's not what's being done here. So if we have a tree that's, say, that tree there that's about 7 or 8 inches in diameter at breast height, that has to be replaced by a tree that will grow to a height of perhaps 30 to 40 feet. And that tree is not going to be, if that tree is cut down, they intend to plant a tree that will grow to a height of a maximum of 20 feet.
Plus, describe the constrained conditions. The trees that will be replanted will be in the same constrained conditions.
Well, exactly as I said before, if you look at that island over there, they'll be replanted in an island that's only going to be 6 feet wide. They will not have the benefit of a wider island, which certainly can be accommodated in this very large parking lot.
And the result being, they'll be stunted.
And the result being we're going to have, again, trees that are not able to grow to their full potential.
So I think we're going to move over to,
so let's take a look
the
at
island over there.
At the entranceway and show you what the change is going to be there.
So this is stunted.
No, they are applying for
I just want to share with everyone while we're walking a couple of things that you should notice. One is you see these trees really stuck in this area. They'll never grow. Their roots cannot grow. So therefore, they're all constrained. They're stunted. They can be very unattractive. And what's going to happen is they'll cut them down and replace them and have the same problem. We'll never have a shade tree to park under in this shopping center.
Is that all about economics?
It makes no sense. No, it's not economical because people are attracted to shaded areas and shade trees.
Is it about them saving money?
No, I don't think so.
It's about convenience.
It's probably
it's easier for them to make a small island. They don't have to think as hard in terms of parking lot configuration. So they just do what they've been doing for the last 20 years as opposed to the most advanced traffic planning in a parking lot.
I also want to point out these shopping carts. Look where they are. How will they protect the trees from the shopping carts being rolled right onto them? There's no plan for that.
Well, we also have to think about how did they get here? Because, you see, we're standing in the middle of the roadway, and there's no way for us to walk safely to any point here. There's no way to walk safely other than through the roadway in that part of the shopping center. We've asked for better pedestrian
They can't hear you.
ingress. We've asked for better pedestrian ingress and egress, and unfortunately, our wishes are not being complied with. All right, let's walk over here, but please watch out for the cars.
Huh? Yes, very good. Damaging the bark. Although there is planned to be metal brakes.
Where? Oh, okay.
I'll show you the definition.
Too far, please. You're going far.
I want to show what's over here. You are standing where the new driveway is going to be. New driveway. You are standing where the new driveway is going to be. Instead of entering that way, heading north, and swinging around to come into the parking lot, the traffic is going to go straight into the building here, and cars will turn left and turn right. There's no relief from traffic in either direction. So if someone is in that building, it's necessary to cross over what will become the primary road through the shopping center.
Should we walk it?
So if you look behind you, you can see how this entrance is not very logical because it curves around at an angle like that. It was originally designed as a traffic slowing mechanism precisely so that cars could not barrel straight into the parking lot. So it calms the traffic, takes it away from the pedestrians essentially, and makes you then re-enter down there or go onto Rooney Circle and go right around the shopping center. That is actually a good feature for pedestrians and for traffic. So this is actually a feature that we would like to remain. Instead, they're going to have an entry that barrels straight this way, as Kevin just explained. High-speed traffic coming right in here, joining what is essentially a speed track that runs right around the shopping center. When we finish, we can all get in our cars and see how fast you might be able to race all the way around the shopping center.
Here they come.
It is not necessary to design traffic patterns in this way. These cars could all be on outer roads or accessing the parking lot from here, not driving right in front of where people are. So we want to pay attention to those traffic patterns and ask them to reconsider those plans. So where we're going now, we're going to go through AMC and look at the interior courtyards, correct?
And also, okay.
Yes, okay.
And also, we want to tell people to experience what it's like not having sidewalks.
Okay, notice where you're walking, right? You're just in the middle of a parking lot.
Yeah.
Imagine you have 5 unruly kids or a disabled grandmother. Where are you meant to walk? Okay? And now, as you're walking through the parking lot, between the rows of cars that are parked nose to nose, no safe walkways. And there are none planned. Exactly, nothing like that. And that's what we'd like to see, more of those.
Are these the plans, the new plans for the new?
Here we have the demolition plan and the phases of development. They're basically asking for variances to raise the height of these frontages.
Why?
To make them more impressive, attractive.
But they're not putting anything for pedestrians. They're
Nothing.
not making anything town center-ish.
Exactly.
All right, so Gary, make your point about the cars coming right at us.
So look here.
No, I mean in
Okay, see,
general.
race car, racetrack. No pedestrian crossings.
Absolutely.
I don't want to interrupt your,
We welcome your input.
if I can have everybody's attention for a minute, Oh, sorry. You want me to yell? Okay, I'll yell. Anyway, thank you all for being here today, and it shows your interest and your concerns about development, and it's what more people should do. Come and see and walk around instead of just, making comments on Facebook without looking at the drawings. Just to give you an idea, about 3.5 weeks ago, myself and certain members of the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board met with the engineer for this development. And we walked for 3 hours. We walked the whole area with the drawings, marked out the drawings of things that we're trying to get from the pedestrian safety side of it. Talking about the new entrance of here, going forward, trucks won't be allowed to come in the front. They're going to have to come in from the side on Rooney Circle. There'll be additional sidewalks being put in. There'll be crosswalks being put in, connecting sections of the development with areas such as the Marriott and Cambria Suites Hotel. The other improvement is Marion Drive. Sidewalks are being put up Marion Drive from Mount Pleasant all the way up to the development, and we're getting a traffic light, not a regular traffic light, but a pedestrian safety activated light, so people can push a button and safely cross the roadway. So those are the things that we are getting, and it seems that we may get them. They were very acceptable to them. We haven't gotten anything in writing yet, but just to let you know, not to take over Kevin and your meeting, but just to give you an idea of that, this is what the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board we're doing, and hopefully you'll be able to accomplish the same thing too. So whatever we can help you with, with our pedestrian side, please involve us.
All right,
Thank you,
Jerry, that's excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I explain something? What is really at stake here is that the developer is not particularly interested in this parking lot or the trees or the pedestrians. What they really want is to get money in their pockets by a quick fix on this center. Their quick fix is to build a drive-in fast food outlet over there on that corner and build a 15,000 square foot drive-through food outlet over there where I'm pointing, which will be 3 times the size of Tgi Friday. With those 2 revenue streams, they reckon they'll have enough money to do up this center. So what they're pretending, in order to get the variances, they have to prove public benefit. They are claiming that the public benefit they are going to give us is a town-centered development. Our question is, are drive-in food outlets the center of town? We don't think so. No. You don't make a town center by fast food outlets. That's what you have in a truck stop. So we question the logic of the variances they are applying for. Until they can show us a town-centered development, which they claim is the benefit, we say no variances. That's really our position.
Gary, why don't you explain town center is a bit of an ambiguous term.
True.
Why don't you explain the concept of town center as it relates to suburban malls?
Okay. That's a very very good question, and it's a very big challenge, because all over the country retail like this is suffering, it's declining, stores are leaving and closing down. So we need really imaginative solutions to revitalize centers like this. Town-centered planning basically means places where people will gather. That's what a town center is. Not cars, not drive-throughs, not trucks. People will gather. So you have to create an environment that's friendly and attractive to people. People of all ages. Little ones that want to play indoors and outdoors, sit around fountains, look at Christmas trees, buy lattes, play bingo. You want a mix, and it's got to be walkable. You need places to sit, places to stop. You need to slow everything down and create things that people want to come to. So part of our vision and part of our argument against these plans is that they are showing us nothing on these blueprints here that is town-centered. For example, where you're standing right now, smart town-centered development would say, stop the racetrack, widen this sidewalk where you are now, have pavement cafes all the way along here where people are dining, there's pavement furniture, there are big trees, there are no cars driving here, none, no cars, faster, no cars. And you can put barriers here and put the cars behind. So you turn this into a place where people gather to eat, to drink, to have coffee, and you do that all the way around the center. The next step is to go inside the center, where there's also amazing potential to create public space and rejuvenate the center.
Gary, would you like to give a local example of what you're talking about?
There's one great example. Kevin, tell us.
Church Street in Montclair is what we've been pointing to the developer as the primary example of a town center that was moribund.
Maybe we won't have a Montclair downtown, but we could have something like the Promenade, Clifton Promenade.
Does everybody know the Clifton Promenade?
Not at all.
No. I think it's a more realistic model for what we're talking about.
Is that Route 3?
The shops, you know, Lori knows we go shop at Chico's over there.
Okay.
They have restaurants, they have stores, it's walkable, it's inviting, and it's right off a major road, Route 3.
Santa Monica Place
Right.
is an outdoor mall. The Grove is an outdoor town center-ish thing. If you're not familiar, Google it. Santa Monica Place was in the 50s, Tom McCann shoes, things like that. In the 90s, they didn't tear it down, but they made it a plaza. There are fountains. There are these sorts of things. Just because that's the West Coast doesn't mean this can't work here.
Those are things that we've asked for. We've asked for a promenade here. We've asked for.
That's what it's called, by the way. I'm sorry. It's called the Santa Monica Promenade.
And we've asked for.
Yeah, South Beach in Miami is another.
Same thing.
We've asked for water features, fountains. We've asked for a green wall. We've asked for a green roof. We've asked for solar panels, electric car charging stations. We've asked for all of those things that most shopping centers now provide, and we have been rebuffed on everything.
And an interesting point there is that Clarion has its own corporate responsibility brochure where they claim that they live up to LEED, that means like green building and specifications, alternative energy, all the things Kevin has just mentioned. They love to trumpet as part of their corporate responsibility, but we in West Orange are not good enough for that. That's happening other places, not here. And we're going to say, until they deliver that, we are not in favor of these variances.
Kevin, can I ask a question? Why are
Sure.
you being rejected on those things?
What has happened is that they have just gone ahead and produced these plans, although many of us have been meeting them face to face, we've been objecting in town council. They will make slight tweaks to the plan, mainly engineering issues, but their position right now, as of this moment, is they are going straight ahead on these plans with none of the things we've requested taken into consideration. If our zoning board at the end of that process says to them, back to the drawing board, we say no, then maybe they will listen to us. But we don't know. The zoning board might just say, okay.
Are you doing any sort of comparative analysis? Because we know what's happening in other cities.
You're not allowed to.
What you said, I know what's going on in some other places.
Right. We are not allowed to state that in the zoning board at this point. Privately, yes, we are looking at, comparable developments.
And we also are considering hiring our own professional planner who can present testimony as to what a true town center is like and why this does not meet the definition of a town center and why it does not meet the criteria for zoning variances. One of the most egregious zoning variances sought is a height variance for a sign that's going to be placed over in the corner near the ShopRite that will be visible from Route 280. So yeah, you're cringing over that. Yes, absolutely. It will be the only sign that will be visible on 280. We have that amazing engineering feat of that rock cut through that mountain, and then it's going to be, it's going to be destroyed visually by some big electronic digital sign.
Clarion is proposing a sign that is 48 feet high and an electronic LED-based sign. So it'll be like a drive-in movie on 280 compared to anything there now. And quite honestly, there's very little commercial signage visible from 280, especially as you're going east.
Would that be similar to like the Kenilworth Hotel on the Parkway with that huge LED sign that's enormous?
I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, the Kenilworth Inn, it's a huge.
Oh yes,
right off
the Park Garden State Park. Yes, it will have the same effect.
That
Yes, another one that you
same
mean.
type of sign,
Yes.
okay.
So again, think of their logic.
Truck stop, like a truck stop.
truck stop. They want a big flashy sign to pull people off the 280 into this parking lot. What happens if you get off the 280 in a 16-wheeler truck and you come in here for a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Where are you going to turn? Are you going to come racing past here then to go to try the other fast food outlet over there? Where are you going to turn? How many kids?
15,000 square foot fast food. What is that?
They're not telling us who the tenant is, but it'll be
What in size? Similar? Is that like
three
TGI?
times the
That's only
footprint.
5,000 square feet.
Right. 3 times the footprint.
What could possibly be a drive-through that big?
Sorry, not necessarily the footprint might be stacked, but it's 15,000 square feet.
okay.
It is virtually 3 times the footprint. We can see on the plan.
So far, the developer's not willing to tell us who the prospective tenants are.
Well, we could say
Okay, so here is Tgi Fridays. Can you see this little square? And here is the proposed building, virtually 3 times the footprint of Tgi Fridays. There's Tgi, and that's what they propose, virtually 3 times the size.
it's going to take up all that skyline over there.
It's almost the size of ShopRite.
Here's ShopRite here.
Half the size. In terms of the other phases, what else is changing in the other phases?
Yes, those are phases. I think let's discuss the phases inside because it's kind of chilly here. Let's go look in the center and then we'll discuss the plans indoors.
I'm not going to be able to stay. So
Okay.
I have a question that somebody brought up. Whoever wrote the list, it was great, all the different ideas, what we want to see, the different things. And everybody said, well, Panera has a non-compete, Macy's has a non-compete. But nobody said, okay, all these things are great ideas. What can we put in that wouldn't be competition?
A pizza place, a coffee place, spas were mentioned, certain retail outlets, mom and pop stores that are basically not like a delicatessen or Eataly. You cannot have a supermarket like Whole Foods or any competing supermarket.
You cannot have a farmer's market. So
really
we've
not
lost.
much that is allowed.
So we've lost our farmer's market in West Orange. This would be an opportunity to have a new farmer's market, but we can't have one.
What, can you just repeat, why is that?
There's the ShopRite.
Non-compete clauses
Other
in
restaurants?
other restaurants, yes, and we are getting many. But you couldn't, for example, have another arts and crafts store because that's going to affect Jerry. So,
yes, but Panera is like a, what isn't Panera coffee?
Panera's bakery, so you can't have another bakery, but you could have a pizza shop, we've been told.
We have
so.
a pizza back in the back.
No, they closed.
Oh, it's gone?
Really? In a while.
Okay, shall we go to the center where
Let's
it's...
keep walking.
Go into the middle section.
It's good that we have a lot of people out here on a cold Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it was
very encouraging.
We want to make sure that the traffic is safe.
Some good stills. I got a few. I don't know if they're good. Show the crowd. Show they
Sorry, I
good.
counted 27 people.
Excellent. Thank you, Louis. Hi. How are you?
This is obviously poor design, and there's no plan to change it.
Say that again.
This is poor design. There's no plan to change it. You walk in, you look at the energy. The energy is just focusing everything on that concrete block wall. The mural is nice, but you're still focused on the concrete block wall. This Petco, we understand, is going to be eliminated, but the building is going to remain. So if Petco is going away and Sears is going out of business, ideally, and this has been suggested, knock down these two buildings, create a town square right over here. It'd be a perfect location.
Especially outside the movie theater, where people can wait.
You can have small restaurants and cafes where people can dine before or after the movies. That would be a wonderful situation, but unfortunately, Clarion does not have the creativity to embark on such an endeavor. So right now, this is what you have. You have a few nice trees. You have no people. And this is Sunday afternoon. There's no one here.
Because there's nowhere to sit.
There's nowhere to sit.
Are there any plans to like add in like benches or
There's nothing
any
no.
sort of like even just a focal point?
So far, we have been presented with no information that would be able to indicate that there's going to be any kind of seating here, any kind of water features, nothing like that.
Give me like glass atrium, something where people can go in and
No, there's no plans.
trees and inside.
No plans for that.
Preordained that Clarion, that Merit is
I like Petco though.
Yeah,
I do like Petco.
I ordered her a new dog coat from Amazon because they didn't have anything that fit her.
Over here, but we don't know
Is that going to be the
officially.
dog food I get at
Yes.
Trader Joe's?
Merit does have drive.
So it's not going to be burger.
Create an amphitheater, turn into something like fountains in the summer. That's like a piazza that has trees. That could be for performance space.
Yes, all of that is a wonderful possibility, but unfortunately, Clarion's not willing to embark on that.
Is Petco closing or is it relocating?
We don't know that. We've been told that Petco is not going to be in this location, but I cannot say that's an official announcement.
Let's keep going.
Let's go look at the main section back here, which also has a lot of potential.
Hi, Philip.
Yes. And even the grove is one. I've seen something similar in China as well. Really beautiful. Gorgeous. Let's go. Well, this is a good spot. Right?
We don't want to lose people, so
Right.
we can just talk about this. We can just talk about it.
It's sad.
It's just
Such
so
a waste
desolate.
of.
Reminds me of Albany, New York.
Okay. Shall I
All right,
talk
come
about
on.
this? Okay, so this is another area that's really ripe for making community spaces. One of the things that is being contemplated is having some stores come right the way through from front to back, which would enliven this area. But here again, if these stores opened out onto this walkway, this is indeed a place that you could put a glass canopy, for example, have a winterized space during an atrium. It could be open in summer, closed in winter. This is where town center planning can really take root. But as Kevin mentioned, that is not on the plans because they don't need to show us any plans like that in order to get their variances. That is something we can change by saying, if you want the variances, show us what you're going to give us, otherwise you're not getting the variances.
And also you can see what you're looking at.
Look at it.
Those are the emergency exits to the movie theater. And it would really be rather unsightly, unpleasant to have cafes along this area when that's what you're looking at, unless there's some kind of creative landscaping that's installed along here that would both meet the fire code requirements for access, ingress and egress, but also that would enable people to just enjoy something visually.
Let me ask a rhetorical question.
Sure.
Where are the members of the zoning board while we're walking through and talking about all this important issues. I mean, I've been to zoning board meetings, and it feels very much like many of the town council meetings where the zoning board is just going along with somebody's master plan that has very little to do with taking townspeople's input into consideration.
So far, with the exception of zoning board member Jerry Eben, the members have been singularly uninspired to ask questions of the applicant.
It's a very generous colloquialism.
So one of the things that you can do, if you feel this is important, join with the community efforts through our Green West Orange and others, and come to the zoning board meetings. You can ask questions. You can also look at the hearings because they've all been videotaped. If you want to sit through 26 hours, you can listen to it all. But one of the reasons we're doing this is to give you a shortcut, just so you know what is the state of play, what are the plans, what can you do, what's at stake, what do you want to see here, and how do we go about asking for that?
8 o'clock Thursday, please, all of you.
Where?
That's at the town council chambers. That's the zoning board meeting. Please come.
Is it every week or every month?
Well, it's typically every month. However, in order to expedite the process, the zoning board may schedule special meetings, and they've done so far.
January 31st.
Are the plans on view in City Hall?
Yes.
They're on view at the...
They're there now?
Right, at the zoning department.
I should also point out that the West... No, it's not online. West Orange has a development master plan. Did you know that? West Orange master plan. On that plan is what is meant to be planned for the town in all of our 6 different centers. Main Street, Valley, Northfield, here, Eagle Rock, etc. The mayor is having a kickoff on January 29th at Liberty Middle School on that master plan. And if you're interested in these issues of town development, there's more at stake than just this center. There's all the others as well. So that's another place where you can engage, come to those meetings. We just heard on Friday that Rock Spring Montclair Golf Course on Walker is going to be sold for development. So that's also going to have huge implications for us.
Is that a fact? It is being sold for development?
Yes, being handed to a developer, yeah. I just want to point out that another huge building is being planned down at the entrance to AMC here, and we'll go there next. Could you just hold the edge there? On this plan, it's the Phase 5 building up here, which joins Building C, which is AMC. Phase 5. You can see here is TGIF. Look at the size of TGIFs. This is the size of the Phase 5 building. It'll be behind it. We don't know. We hear 2 decks of parking, plus we don't know what kind of retail, but also the most developed trees are on a bank over here that'll all be destroyed. The biggest trees in the center down there. So we're going to go that way next, and then we're going to wrap around back to TGIF, and then we can talk some more about the actual plans. The cats are nice. Turn around and get this funny. Turn it. Did it sometimes.
You complain a lot though.
So let's see which poor suffering trees are coming down.
I think we'll just go this way, right? We can point out and then go this way.
Okay. Which are the trees
all
coming?
Of those.
All of those.
Yeah.
So all of this is going to be a building.
Yeah, most of it. I do just wait for people to come. Okay, so here, thanks Kevin. This is the parking lot we're standing in right now. Here is the Amc Theater. So this is the parking lot here. You can see most of this parking lot will disappear, and all of that section over there will become this very large building here.
How tall is that building proposed?
I don't know off the top of my head.
That may be
But,
a parking deck?
2 floors of parking deck plus other, I think 1 retail floor and 2 parking decks. But for the whole center, they've applied for height variances. So you can expect everything to get higher. And the gym around the corner is an example of what happens when our height variances are superseded.
LA Fitness.
LA Fitness is much higher than it should be by law. Okay, so now we're just going to walk around this way, past where this proposed building will be, back to TGIF where it will be warm and you can get a cocktail, and we can talk more about plans, hear your opinions, and wrap it up. Yes?
And those trees.
Oh, yes. Those trees over there, that whole bank, they're among the more successful trees on the site because they have a large slope behind them and they're well nourished. They will all be gone. Notice also, and this is another point, is the maintenance of the landscaping. If you look at these trees here, you'll see that many of their leading stems have been topped, have been cut off. That limits the growth of trees, and it's a sign that the people who are doing the maintenance don't want the trees to get bigger. Sound parking lot design, you want bigger trees, you want shade trees, but so we want a maintenance contract that'll prevent the shopping center from topping trees as well.
Where's that monster sign you said they want to put up?
By
Since we see 280 here.
Executive Drive.
It's by the Executive Drive office buildings, by the ShopRite. It's over in that corner.
And you also want to write about where the library is going.
Okay, yes. Have you heard that there's a plan to move the library from downtown to Executive Drive? Executive Drive is down over there on the edge of Rooney Circle. I don't know if everyone's been there. I lived in town 13 years. I only visited it recently because I never had reason to go there. But we can drive there after we repaired to TGIF and examine the site there. But there are 3 or 4 really large business buildings that are quite abandoned, and that is a redevelopment zone. You want to add to that?
Well, the concern that many people have is that if the library property is sold to a developer, then the library will be moved up here. And the people from the Main Street area who walk to the library will no longer have that opportunity. So right now, the plan seems to be rather amorphous as to whether there's going to be a second library in the Main Street area. We don't know that. So the idea of putting a library here at Executive Drive seems to be a very poor substitute from the current library that we have now, because there's going to be a very large population that will be disenfranchised from the opportunity to use a library.
Okay.
That building is going to crowd the AMC.
Yes. And you know, if they've got a problem with letting space, why build a, 30,000 square foot building? Let's let this empty space first. So it's all, to me, it's all back to front.
Are these trees coming down, do you think?
We can check on the demolition plan.
Okay.
I shouldn't think they'd have to.
Completely over mulched.
Yeah. Scenic West Orange.
Yes. There will be sidewalks though.
Right.
The town's going to put sidewalks from Marion Drive.
And there will be a Lovely, eh? LA Fitness, architectural marble. So we can cut across.
Kevin? Note the lack of sidewalks. Yeah. There's no sidewalk to walk on.
Nice sized tree.
Very nice sized tree.
And all of this will be gone.
Yes.
Basically, I'll show you
All
the demolition plan. Basically, everything is being demolished and remade. Yeah, I think they're saving 8 trees. Maybe this one and this one.
You know, what is not considered. I know what people don't, because it feels like no matter what you want, they just do whatever they want.
We can
That's
stop
not
there,
true.
you know, if we...
It just feels like that, whether it's true or not.
Right.
That's what it feels.
But there are 27 of us here today. You know, if we show up at the zoning board meeting and make it clear that we're concerned and interested, that definitely has an impact. And
That's
I think...
true.
And the other
it's
thing...
this Thursday, you said?
Yeah, and the other thing is to elect people and place people on the zoning board that we respect, whose opinion we trust and respect.
That's it.
So we now have such a person will be joining the zoning board. Jonathan Redwine was just appointed by Cindy Matute Brown.
Oh, okay, good.
He will be taking the seat. Yeah, good.
I'm all about, you know, it's a constant joke. There are the group of people that only feel like...
Kevin?
On the
people that are lifelong West Orange residents are the way to go.
Yes, yes.
And I keep saying, what are you, crazy?
Right. There's so much talent in town.
Yeah.
But they tend to prefer people who are second and third generation and keep everything in the family, you know?
No.
And so this is not good enough.
No.
We need vision.
That's it.
Okay, this will be the last stop, right?
We should ask.
Okay.
We should ask people how many people would like shade trees. How many people would like parking?
All right.
Sidewalk.
Okay, this is the last stop, and then we're heading inside. So here is a nice island, big enough for the trees, you'll notice. But just to take stock of where our building, 15 square foot building will be, right there. Here you can see the entrance over here with this little island. There'll be a fast food place right over here. There's the, there's the bank. Atlantic. All right, yes, that's better. Okay, TGIF, the bank, proposed building. There's the bank, proposed building here. That whole island with the evergreen trees will be remade, cut away.
So that building also have a drive-through. That's something that requires a variance. And we have to look at it from the perspective of the master plan has been examined previously. So drive-throughs have not been permitted in this area previously. When the master plan has been re-examined, the town has decided to keep drive-throughs prohibited. So unless there's some demonstration that there's a public benefit at this particular site for drive-through, the request for the variance should be denied.
Do you know what the drive-throughs are planning? You said Panera, maybe, and do you know what else?
Rumors that there's a Starbucks planned for that corner, but we don't know. That's just a rumor.
But it's multiple locations that'll go into that building. I mean, that building is huge for a single retail.
Multiple businesses, we don't know.
And your thought is that the drive-throughs are contrary to the town center idea because it's not a congregating area.
Exactly right.
And people will come through.
Yeah, it's by its nature transient.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Transient, more traffic, garbage. Are you pulling people off the highway just to pull in for a quick fix when they get back on the road? Is that really the smart solution for the center? I mean, let's be really clear about this. We want this development to succeed. We're all for it. We all want this rejuvenated, but we're asking you as well. You know, what do you want to see? What stores do you want to see? Do you want shade trees in your parking lot? Do you want safe walkways to the center? And if you do, we got to stand up and tell them that's what we want. If you want a variance, show us what we need. Live up to your own corporate responsibility pamphlets. And
I'm sorry, I just have questions. I'm
Sure.
interested in this. Of course, I want a beautiful town center. I want great restaurants that I would want to eat in. This group of people is a group of people that probably wants that too. Is one of the reasons I wonder, well, why would they be willing to do something like that, say in Montclair, but not, or in wherever, Clifton, wherever the
we don't know.
Is the population going to be able to support the stores?
I can only guess. I can tell you two important facts. Within 1 square mile of this center, the median income household is $160,000 a year. This is not a place that can't support more high-end stores in the mix. No. My guess is that this property that they purchased is not very successful right now. A lot of it is empty, and I reckon they've decided on a quick fix. And the best quick fix is to sell to drive-through outlets. That's what I think is happening here.
And to follow up on what Gary is saying, at the very first zoning board meeting, I asked the representative of Clarion whether they've considered whether the income of this area, being as high as it is a factor for them in how they're going to renovate and redevelop this shopping mall. And she said that it was, which would encourage us to believe that it's going to be an upper level shopping mall. However, the facts that have been presented, the plans that have been presented, those are quite the contrary, that aspiration is not going to be there.
Do you know why they built 2 hotels over here? Who goes to those hotels? And are they trying to recoup the loss that they've made?
May I suggest that we go indoors and consider these questions, because we have the room booked, so we can talk and look at the plans and all that.
These hotels are packed.
Oh, well, tell. Oh,
Miss.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Is it full?
Yes, the hotels.
Yeah.
These hotels are packed.
Bring a second set.
Where's Katie? She had to drop something off. She left. She's
She ducked into Paneras.
Too cold.
I think she had to drop up her glasses.
Ask people how they feel, Gary, walking in the...
Her glasses.
Let's ask. So, Todd,
Yes, sir.
how do you feel walking in the middle of the parking lot here?
Horrified.
Safe?
Are you looking all around?
No, I really hate how dangerous it is here. I've walked with my kids many times, and you have to keep them close to you when they're really young, and they would run off. And there's no place for people to access the outer rim of the parking lot and safely walk to the shopping area without worrying about being backed into or run over by cars that are kind of going back and forth quickly. So
yeah,
it's quite
something
dangerous.
we just get used to, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to.
Absolutely.
What do you feel about more high-end stores there? Like, what would you like to see, for example?
question. I don't know. I didn't realize there was a non-compete thing. I'd have to think about that a little bit. But it would be nice to have a mix of cafes and restaurants and places that people could go and hang out while they shop, so that it's not only is it that you come here quickly to grab something that you need, but you can come and hang out and then refill yourself.
Linger, right?
Yeah, linger a little bit and browse. And there's not enough variety here, and there's a lot of empty spots. I don't think we need any big shops, and I'm glad the Sears is going, and I'd like to see Petco disappear.
Smaller.
Yeah.
I think smaller is the way to go, definitely.
Places for people to come in that work from home, where they can come. They
like
can,
an incubator center.
Yeah, like
computer
places
offices and stuff like that. Yeah.
Or even just cafes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, do you want to sign off then? Because you know, I've got 10 people watching and I'm running out of battery.
650, what?
I'm running out of battery.
Okay.
I've got 10 people watching. Should we continue? Well, I guess I can continue inside.
All right.
Hang on, everyone. I'm running out of battery. I'll go as long as I can. We have.
Gary, do we have a reservation of some sort for
I think. Hello.
Excuse me.
Lawrence said he last booked the front room. She said we could be in the front room. That's over there.
Good.
Thank you.
People are still watching on live Facebook Live, but we're gonna have more questions, or we're just gonna. Keep it going.
What he arranged when he booked the room, people are going to talk, maybe order cocktails, not so much seated dining. The front room, must have been this. I don't know who he spoke with. People are probably just, they want to talk, have cocktails, not so much sit down lunch. We wouldn't be able to do it there. So I guess you don't have to move too many things, right? You can just sit and huh? I guess they can go to the bar and get it.
No, they can go ahead and order it because it's all day.
Then they go there and bring the drinks. We can sit if you want. You can order.
Yeah, that's good.
We can make it one. So anyone who'd like to sit, have a seat. Have a seat if you like. We can still just chat and mingle. How are you doing, Mom? Are you okay? Have a seat if you like. Mingle. You can sit anywhere. That's it.